All right, today we're going to unpack what seems like some really great news, A brand new high-tech solution for one of India's most polluted towns. But as we're about to see, there's a huge difference between looking like you're solving a problem and, well, actually solving it. And that's where things get interesting.
And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of it. Performative environmentalism. That's such a powerful phrase. It's really all about the difference between just, collecting a bunch of data versus actually doing something with it, taking real action. We're going to see exactly how this whole idea plays out in a town called Byrnihat. So first up, let's look at the official story. On the surface, this whole thing looks like a total win, right? You've got this brand new, shiny piece of tech showing up to tackle a problem that's been around forever.
Okay, so it all kicked off on December 11th. That's when the government announced what they called a new era of environmental vigilance for this big industrial hotspot, Byrnihat.
So what is this thing? Well, it's called a Continuous Ambient Air Quality Monitoring System, or CAQMS for short. And it's actually the very first one in the entire state. What it does is give real-time data on some really nasty stuff in the air. We're talking dangerous particles like PM10 and PM2.5, plus sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and carbon monoxide. It sounds super impressive, doesn't it?
Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second, because yeah, more data sounds great on paper, but this new monitor, it brings up a really sharp question, one that kind of challenges this whole solution.
And really, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The pollution in Byrnihat, it's not some big mystery. Everybody knows where it's coming from. The sources are super well known. So you have to ask, is this monitor a real tool that's going to lead to action? Or is it just a fancy way to kick the can down the road, to get stuck collecting data forever and avoid any real accountability?
And to really get why people are so skeptical, you've got to look at the history of this place. You have to understand Byrnihat's reality, because when it comes to pollution here, context is absolutely everything.
Like I said, there is zero mystery about Byrnihat's pollution. This place is a massive industrial zone. It's just jam-packed with cement plants, coal-based industries, and you've got heavy trucks clogging up the roads 24/7. The fact that the air quality is bad, that's not a new discovery. Come on, it's been a full-blown crisis for years.
And this really gets to the core of the problem. It has never been about a lack of knowledge. It's always been about a history of weak enforcement. The state has had a really tough time enforcing environmental laws for years. Just look at the whole illegal coal mining crisis. You see the pattern, right? They know about a problem, but then they fail to actually do anything about it.
This whole pattern of inaction, it actually has a name. And it perfectly explains the risk we're talking about here. It's called the data trap.
So what is the data trap? Well, it's basically when gathering information becomes the end goal instead of just the first step. It's a way for authorities to look really busy and concerned. They can point to all these charts and graphs, but all while avoiding the really hard work, the politically messy work of actually enforcing the rules.
And this is how that cycle of inaction usually works. It's a pretty clear playbook. Step 1, you acknowledge a problem that, let's be honest, everyone already knows about. Step 2, you install some shiny, expensive new monitor. Step 3, you publish all the alarming data it collects. But Step 4 is the big one. That's the fork in the road. Do you use that data to actually enforce the law, or do you just stay stuck on this treadmill of monitoring forever?
So when you boil it all down, there are really only two ways this can go for the Byrnihat monitor. Just two futures. In one future, it's a real tool for action. The data comes in, it triggers fines, maybe even closure notices, and the air actually gets better. But in the other future, it's just an excuse for delay. The data gets published, sure, but no penalties are handed out, and the pollution just keeps on going.
So what's the real test here? Well, it's not about the fancy technology, is it? It's about political will. It's about accountability. And honestly, this is where we and you can actually come in.
And check this out. We can actually put a clock on it. Let's say the monitor gets installed in December. Okay, well by March of the next year, just a few months later, there's going to be more than enough data to see which path they're taking. That gives everyone a really clear time frame to start asking some tough questions.
And here's exactly how you can do that. Think of it as your own little research mission. First, you ask for the hard numbers. In India, there's a tool called a Right to Information Request, or RTI. You can file one and ask the pollution board point blank, how many fines have you collected? How many closure notices have you issued? Then, second, you verify. You go talk to the people who actually live in Byrnihat. Find out from them if they feel any real difference in the air they're breathing every single day.
So at the end of the day, the crucial point is this. We have to look past all the shiny press releases and the ribbon-cutting ceremonies. The real measure of success for this monitor isn't going to be on some government website. Nope. It's going to be in the lungs of the people who live here. So the question we started with is the one we end with. Is this monitor a tool for action, or is it just another excuse for delay? And it's really up to all of us to demand an answer.